What's going on, y'all? It's Saturday morning. I hope everybody out there is feeling fantastic. So let's go ahead and jump all over these topics. And the first thing I want to discuss is this situation that's going down with Faith Evans. So Faith Evans is being sued. And the reason why she's being sued is because she pulled some SHIT on Biggie's mother. And so basically they're saying that she wrongfully withheld Violetta Wallace's cut of the primary wave deal, which was reportedly valued at $100 million. So I'm going to take the time to read the publication to you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So it says here, Faith Evans, the R&B singer and widow of the notorious B.I.G., has been sued for allegedly refusing to share profits from a landmark primary wave catalog deal with the estate of the rap icon's late mother. Evans faces the claims in a Delaware court petition originally filed last Wednesday, July 2nd, and unsealed on Tuesday, July 8th. The case was brought by Wayne Barrow, a record executive who became executor of the estate of Biggie's mother, Violetta Wallace, upon her death in February. According to the complaint, Evans became the sole manager of Biggie's estate after Violetta's passing in February. The suit alleges that Evans excluded the trust from both the financial distribution and operational control tied to the reported $100 million deal with Primary Wave. The transaction involved the late rapper's publishing rights and other intellectual properties. Wayne Barrow, a longtime friend of the Wallace family and manager of the trust, is leading the legal action. He claims Evans has quietly issued payouts to Biggie's children, Tiana and CJ Wallace, and likely to herself, while withholding the trust portion. Miss Evans has distributed sale proceeds to Tiana, CJ, and presumably to herself, Barrow wrote in court filings. She, however, has wrongfully withheld the trust share of the proceeds, he added, with the specific amount redacted from the record. Barrow also alleges that Evans has shut him out of all business-related communication since assuming full control of the estate. He notes that Evans has not previously played a management role in the LLC, overseeing Biggie's assets, and argues her decisions since taking over have been harmful to the trust's interests. Barrow is now asking the court to compel Evans to release the trust share of the catalog sale. He is also seeking her removal as manager of the LLC and requesting to be reinstated in that position. According to the filing, the trust proceeds were intended to support the Christopher Wallace Memorial Foundation. The legal challenge complicates what was once seen as a landmark business deal preserving Biggie's legacy. With no public response from Evans so far, the lawsuit raises new questions about how the estate of one of hip-hop's most influential figures is being handled in the wake of his mother's death. Alright, so you guys just heard all of that. Now, to my knowledge, I believe Violetta was fighting this before she passed away. There were some issues between her and Faith behind the scenes regarding Biggie's estate. But I will say this, I don't have an issue with Faith dipping and dabbing into the estate just to pull out money for Biggie's kids. I don't think that Biggie will want his kids to be without, right? The question is how much Faith took out for herself. Now, that would be something to definitely look out for if it's ever revealed, because at the end of the day, we don't know what economic hardships that Faith could be going through at this particular point in time. Now, the question is she splashing, splurging, styling, and profiling and living way above her means and basically taking advantage of the estate? Then that's a problem. And I would hope that Faith will continue to take the necessary steps to preserve Biggie's legacy. I don't think that she would do anything to taint it. I would hope not. I hope that she wouldn't try to burn through all of the money and things like that. But it just sounds as though that somebody else wants a piece of the pie here. Now, I could be wrong here. Faith could be totally effing things up, and Barrow, the friend of the Wallaces that's taking Faith to court, he could have Biggie's interest at heart. But we all know when it comes to money, especially this type of money, that these situations can get extremely muddy real quick. So listen, we'll just have to wait to see if Faith even responds to this and how this thing plays out at the end. But I hope that Faith is doing her duty behind the scenes as a widow to uplift Biggie and not do anything treacherous to sully his reputation or to sully the estate completely. So guys, let's move along, but we're not moving too far because we're going to stay on Faith Evans, because this has to do with Faith and Biggie's son CJ. So remember, I did a video a few days ago where John Doe is alleging that Diddy basically rubbed one off into a Biggie shirt and throwed it on him and things like that. He had Diddy's baby batter on him, allegedly. And in the same breath, John Doe also alleged that Diddy put his junk in his esophagus and things like that. And so now the same John Doe is claiming that Biggie's son drove him. He was one of the people within the crew that drove him to see Diddy. So this is what he's saying. So John Doe is saying that basically there was a group of men, including Biggie's son, that actually lured him to a Revolt TV location back in 2020. And it was Combs Corporation vehicle that they were in, where he says that he was ambushed and then led to a room where Diddy was waiting. Then he goes on to say, upon entering the room, that's when his head was held by others, and then Diddy attempted to stuff his you-know-what in his mouth. All the while, Diddy was allegedly screaming at him that his days working for Bad Boy were over as a punishment for clashing earlier. So there was some type of disagreement that they had earlier. Now, John Doe also concludes that he has reason to believe that a photo was snapped while he was going through this horrific and traumatic process as humiliating evidence, and says when he was able to escape back to the vehicle's location that CJ, which is Biggie's son, and an entrepreneur named Willie Mack and other individuals were there to transport him home. He also claims that he was forced to ride home with the taste of Diddy's junk in his mouth still lingering in his jaws. And ultimately, John Doe just categorizes this as just a traumatic experience. Now, the lawsuit goes on to say that the ABUSC peaked a few days before he actually had the incident with Diddy tossing Biggie's t-shirt filled with baby batter on him. And he said that there was a meeting that they had where Diddy basically just told him out of the blue that he was gonna F the blank out of him. So he said that after that transpired, Diddy just unexpectedly just put his paws down there, right? And tugged it. And so John Doe is pursuing damages from CJ and all other defendants. Now, I find this very funny that this came out on the heels of Faith being sued, and the fact that it came out that she's been distributing and issuing money to Biggie's kids. You know what I'm saying? We know that there was a cut for CJ or whatever, but I'm not trying to discredit this man. This man may have factual information and he may be a victim, but I just find that particularly funny. I just got to keep it all the way 100. Now, again, I want to reiterate that I'm not saying that these events did not take place. This could be something that really did happen, but when you find out on the internet and it's public knowledge that Faith has been breaking off her son with a nice piece of change, well, we don't know how much, so let me not speculate and say that. But given the fact that she's giving her son money, all of a sudden he was in the equation and actually helped transport you to be violated by Diddy. Listen, it just sounds a little bit suspect to me. That's all. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything that was discussed in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Peace.